Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian report for the 8th of July, starting with the ASX on the daily chart here. Now, as you can see, we're certainly in an uptrend here, and there's certainly still further to go to the upside. One of the main issues here is the number 6,800. I call 8 a profit-taking number, so we can expect the market to have a spend some time there in a corrective pattern. Still, if this count is correct, then wave 1 here, then wave 2, and then wave 3 here. So wave 3 should be longer than wave 1 here, but I've got a little bit of a problem with that in that I can count sort of 5 waves up to this particular point here. So perhaps I need to lift it up 1 degree further so it actually has like 5 waves up here for wave 3 here, which would be in line with the European markets, and there's other problems here with this particular count too, is that, as I've mentioned before, this wave 4 here overlaps wave 1. So that's a little bit unsettling for me. I have looked at other counts here where we have all of this up here for wave 1 here and back for wave 2 here. And then these can be a series of building processes here of 1 and 2, then 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and then going into a third wave here. So there are different counts, but all I can do is I can just, as long as we're still getting little impulse waves to the upside, impulse wave is 5 waves, which gives me the direction. So if I'm continuing getting those 5 waves to the upside and we're getting 3 wave corrections, then we'll just stay on the long side for this. But let's just go in and have a look at where we are with this here. So with wave 4 being here, and which I'm worried about this wave 4 too, the size of it is rather small compared to the previous wave 4. So there's a couple of holes in my analysis, and it's not the first time I've been wrong, but we're normally quite good at figuring things out with the information that we have, so understanding corrective patterns here and being able to get in on the long side here. And then also too, with structures that are like this one here, I can see that this one here is not finished. It needs to have these other waves here to complete to the upside here. So even though I don't have all the answers, we've got enough to continue to make profit out of these trends. So that's what we'll do. So one of the main things here is that, as I mentioned before, 65 here is a medium level. It's important. The next important level is 6.8 up here. The halfway mark between 5 and 8 is this number here, the 65, that I'm always harping on about. And normally it becomes a nice balance point, giving it enough time. So the 6 is important and the 7 is important. They can capture the top and the bottom okay, but it's normally when we go to take a trade, the 65 number, the 50 here, 665 number, tends to be the balance within all of that and helps us look for support here with these. So we know that this was a corrective pattern down here, so we could start to build in once we could establish impulse waves and also support on that level as well. So we've managed to do that, and we're moving up in here now. With all trends, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and the beginning is the building process, and the middle is where everybody's aware that it's a trend and they're all piling in at that stage, and then we've got the ending process here. So we are in the ending process up into the 6.8 here, so that's the main gist of it all. But let's go in and have a look at this a little bit further. So picking this up from wave 2 here now, we're counting 5 waves up, and as I mentioned here, I can count 5 waves up here, but this would actually, from wave 2 here to wave 3 here, would actually be a shorter trend than wave 1 here. So that's a bit of a no-no. So that means, well, it's possible, but it would mean that this wave 5 would need to be shorter still, and that's possible as well. So we need to look at that in that regard as well. So, but like I mentioned, I'll just follow the waves up. We'll just keep counting and moving our targets and so on up. So at the moment, starting at Monday, beginning of week, we've got a position here. We've got a position here. We've moved our stop up to here. We've got another position here. And now in terms of I'll leave the stop where it is. In terms of our wave count now, we've got from wave 2 here, all the way up to wave 3 here. We're looking for 5 waves, so we've got a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1 and back for 2. And I've been counting this little move up here, and it appears that we've got an extension from wave 4 to wave 5 here. So that's cool. So yeah, we're looking at an ABC correction now with this here. So with that in mind, we're looking at wave 2 low here roughly to the top of wave 3 here. The 38.2% retracement level is here. However, the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree is down here, so it could come a bit lower. This move down here appears to be in 5 waves here, and it has moved back up to its 61.8% mark here for wave B. So we'd look for wave C to come down. It may just give us a double bottom here and a bounce and move up, or it may even try to extend a little bit lower here into the 6,700. Either way, we don't want it taking out our stop here. So we need to just keep this out of the way for the moment, okay? So we don't want to get stopped out with this. So just what we're looking for here is 5 waves here. So yeah, just keep it out of the way. And then once we've got this little ABC here, then we should see 5 waves up to 6, 8 here. It's at this point here, if you wanted to take part profit, then this would be or full profit, then this would be the place to take it at that particular number there. So you might want to take all profit there or whatever. But understand that what we're actually looking for here now, if this is correct, we'll see a really quite complicated series of wave 4s here. So we've got little wave 4 here. So all of these other wave 4s here can essentially pull back to this little wave 4 here. So taking, most of the profit here wouldn't be such a bad idea, but at the same time, to make money out of a market, you've got to stay in the trend, and that takes patience, it takes courage, yeah, you can't be a greedy trader either, because if you overtrade, then you can't take the heat. If you can't take the heat, well, then you can't take the money off the table. So, yeah, lots of simple, complicated, haunting matters to be resolved. So just drilling into this little space here on the 100 ticks here, this is how I was looking at it here. So wave 3 here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the A wave, an A and a B and a C to the B wave here. That pulls up already to the 61.8% mark here. So that's cool. So we should see 5 waves down here. This 5 waves is quite clear here. I've had a look at on the 20 tick chart. This is 20 ticks here. So here from the top I can see we've got the move down through here as wave 1 and wave 2 here, and then we have 5 waves in this little sequence here, and then wave 4 here. So we've got wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and we've also got 5 waves in this structure here, and then the A wave, the B wave, and I haven't counted all this up here and do my head in, but we're at the 61.8%, so we should see this move back down to these lows here, at least to the, say, 6,720 area before moving up again. So if you're going to go long again here, then there's a couple of things that we could do. First of all, if the market moves back down through here to, say, the 720 area and then comes back up here, I don't know what that's doing there. Excuse me a second. So we've got 10, 20, 30, and then we've got the 50 here, which is the midpoint, and then we've got 65 here, which is beginning of group 2 here, and then 72 here, close enough, and 80 here. Oops, a daisy. 80, close enough, and then this number here, which will be the 6.8, which is a minor trading level, and we can expect the market to sit there. So if the market moves back down through here somewhere in 5 waves and then finds support back on the midpoint, the 50 here, then you can go long from that point. You could go long down here after 5 waves as well, but what you'd look for is you look for 5 waves down, and then you need to find 5 waves up, and then there'll be 3 waves back, and then you can move in on the top of this one here. So I can just draw that out for you a little bit over here. So this little move down here will be five. Let's just pretend that's 5 waves down here. Then you want your little 5 waves to move up here. Once you've got those 5, then you look for your ABC pattern and you take these highs out, or draw a line through here and then go from that point. But if you've got those 5 there on your side, then you know that you're going to get another 5 up here. So at least you can get close to break even, because if you take this top out here, then you'll keep your stop down here somewhere, 61.8% below here, 80% below here. And as that moves up there, then you just keep the stop, 60-80% away from wherever the price is. So it's the safer way to get into all of this anyway. Alrighty, let's look at the other markets. Starting with India today. So with India here, we'd been looking for a move back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, which is here. In fact, the 38.2% retracement level is high at the higher end of this band here. So we're looking in that space there somewhere. And if I was wrong with this, then we would need support on the 12,000 to go long from that point. But the markets pull back down strongly, so we definitely are in this particular space here now for this. So a C wave has always got 5 waves in it, unless it's in a triangle, only have 3 then. But so from B to C here, we're looking for 5 waves in that section there. So on the 4-hour chart here, just draw it out like this here. Looks like we've got wave 1 down here. We're looking back for wave 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. Like I said, it could come lower from this. Wave 4 likes to break trend lines, and there is a trend line through there. We'll see how we go with that, but it's just more important to count the actual 5 wave structure to the downside. So on the 1-hour chart here, we can look at it like this here. So looking at 5 waves down here, and then an A wave and a B wave and a C wave here for wave 2. So we can pull up, the market can come back up to around 11,900, and you can short it in that space there if you wanted to. We can just turn this green, and the reason we can do that is because we do have 5 waves in this first move here. So we know that after a corrective move, we'll see another 5 waves down. So I've just drawn a line here. So this will be an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave here. If we got any of those little guys, oh yeah, there we go. So that's what we're looking for here really, is an A and a B and a C wave there. This should be a 5 wave structure, 3 wave structure, and 5 wave structure. So it looks like we've got the first little move up for 1, back for 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Just double check in the tick chart. This is the tick chart here. So this is just 100 ticks. So wave 5 of C of B up there. And it looks like we've got 1 and 2, nice strong 3rd wave here, 4th wave here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So we should see this. It doesn't have to pull back to the 61.8% mark either up here, but one of the main things that we're looking for is that if the market moves down here, then what we're looking for is that low and the second low here. And that's where we can draw a line through there, and we can just short if that's breached at that point. That's what we're looking for. So it may not come up here. This is the first consolidation area here where the most volume was turned out, and then of course up here in this block here. And markets will mirror that because there's orders there, and most of the orders, most buying is emotional. So that reaction will be emotional as well. So that will mirror that particular behaviour. Alrighty, and Hong Kong. So with Hong Kong here, we've been looking for a top here from wave 2 to wave 3 up here, or it can be wave C. I better come back to the 4-hour chart and just have a look at this here. Yeah, so yes, in the bigger picture here, this move up here can be, it's pulled up to the 61.8% mark here, and so far it's in 3 waves, so an A and a B and a C wave here. So it can be, you know, it can pretty much come straight down that from this particular point, but we don't have enough evidence here for any of that just yet, but that's a certain possibility. Or we'll look up here as 1 and 2 and all this is the 3rd wave here. And if that's the 3rd wave, then we can take the bottom here and put that on the top here. And that means that we can expect the market to come down to that area there. So we can take the bottom of the 4th wave here and the 38.2% retracement level there, clean that up a little bit. So that's where we can expect it to come down to at this particular point. Okay, so far here, it looks like we've only got 3 waves here. So we would need to see 5 waves. If we get 5 waves here, then we can look to short. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here, and then an A and a B and a C here, a bit like India, and we can draw a line across there, and then you can short down to there. Now, when you get down to here at the 2800, there's definitely going to be a bounce there. Now, that bounce could take us back up into here, and we might need to label this here as wave 4 here, and then up for wave 5. Or we're going to have a bounce off here and then come lower from here and retest that and then move down through there as well into a lower thing here. So I don't know what the best thing to do is here. Definitely being on the short side would be the aim at this stage. So if you wanted to go see here, I haven't really pull that apart, but I'm assuming that's wave 1 here and wave 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 3rd wave, a 4th wave here, and then the 5th wave coming down here somewhere, and then having, I mean, there's support here, and then the other support is on top there, so it's all pretty close. So somewhere in amongst there. Just remove that there for a moment, and that one, and then we'd be looking for an A and a B and a C wave to come back up into supply levels, and then down here again. So we could short through here if you wanted. I mean, if you short here right now, we've only got 3 waves down, so we don't know. I mean, I could have made a mistake and we can just go straight up from there. So we can't short unless we have the evidence, and the evidence would be 5 waves. So we need those 5 waves in, and then we can short, and that just makes more sense. I mean, if you shorted here, you're taking a high risk because we've got no evidence, and the market is in an uptrend. It's only had a 3-wave pullback. If you shorted here, you'd have to leave the stop out of the way up here somewhere. So I'll leave that for you to decide there. So there's a lot to work through here as such. Let me just put this in here while we're here, the bottom of this wave 4 here, and the 38.2% retracement there. We can get rid of that. So that's sort of where we are really with this here at the moment. I just don't know if that's a wave 4 there yet either. We can come further down, but whatever happens, we will see a bounce off this level here, and we'll be able to work it out from that point. Once we've got that first high in the thing there, then that can help us with our long trades to the upside at that point. In terms of shorting the market, we would need to wait, in this space here, we would need to wait until we've got a retested resistance That's either going to move up from there, or if it moves down through here, then we'd need to see this type of thing happen here, that breakthrough retest, fail the retest, and that will be the trigger to the downside here. So it's basically using a bit of logic and taking the next logical step based on a particular price point here, because at the end of the day, analysis is one thing, and there are good, we can be good, technical analysis people, but also being a trader is something different as well. The analysis is looking for the direction, where the trader is really looking for the setup and risk versus reward and those sorts of things. So I'll try to combine both of them the best I can, but yeah, we tend to have a strength in one more than the other in most cases. So alrighty, that's it. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for the support. Cheers.